Hi, welcome back to my views and news. Three news stories. First one is about a video shared by Fano activists and news outlets showing some ENDF soldiers taken prisoner by Fano fighters. Now it seems that uh, authentic videos are being shared because we have seen so many fake images, fake videos, or the videos, pictures related to Tigray war being shared. But now it seems that these activists, Amhara activists, have learned a lesson. Genuine videos are now being shared. The video shows several ENDF members taken prisoner by Fano fighters. They can be heard talking about Fano. Secondly, we have a new story about the incidents on Oromia Amhara border. Fano fighters have been carrying out attacks in Oromia. Military ENDF had to intervene there in Dera Warada. What is the latest? According to some sources, some Amhara people have been abducted in Dera. Lastly, viewers, Ethiopian state media covered yesterday's Eritrean demonstration which happened in Tel Aviv, Israel. Several viewers contacted me. They said, Sadi, does it mean that Ethiopia relations are not good? There is tension between the two countries. I have my views on this development. Firstly, viewers, since the start of unrest and conflict in the Amhara region, we have seen a barrage of disinformation. Old videos from Tigray conflict were being shared as if the videos are from the Amhara region, pictures as well. It seems that now maybe some activists, news outlets have learned a lesson. New videos are being shared now showing ENDF soldiers taken prisoner by Fano fighters. ENDF members are being taken prisoner, but not as many as is being claimed by Fano sources. A video is in circulation since this morning showing several ENDF soldiers who have been captured by Fano fighters. The soldiers are all praise for Fano fighters. Some of them are Oromos. The narrative being built through these videos is by Fano is that Oromo soldiers are being launched. This is Oromo Amhara conflict, Oromo versus Amhara conflict, and that Fano is treating the POWs in a very humane and responsible manner. We don't know if any ENDF members have been killed by Fano fighters after having captured them. So it's difficult to say. We only saw one video showing a Fano fighter beating an ENDF soldier, maybe a Republican guard, I think. But we could not confirm any death in custody of any ENDF soldier, or that ENDF soldiers were tortured after they were arrested by Fano fighters. It does not mean that such incidents did not happen. Maybe happened, don't know. But no confirmation, no statement from the government as well. No statement from any body saying that Fano fighters are torturing or killing ENDF soldiers after capturing them. And the vice versa too. No statement, no details, no claim that Fano fighters are being tortured or killed after detained by the security forces. Video showing ENDF soldiers, several of them taken prisoner by Fano fighters.
እነሱ ጋር ስገባ ምንም ያደረጉኝ ነገር የለም። እነሱ ጋር መጀመሪያም እነሱ ጋር ወንድሞቼ ናቸው። ወደ እነሱ ነው የገባሁት። እነሱ ጋር ስገባ ምንም የደረሰብኝ ነገር የለም። እኔ መሰረታዊ ወታደር ነበር። እነሱ ጋር ገብተናል። እነሱ ምንም ያደረሰብኝ ችግር የለም። በስነ ስርዓት ነው የተቀበሉ። ብሔሬ አማራ ይኸው እነሱ ጋር መከላከያ ነበርኩ ተፈንጀጂን እነሱ ጋር ነው እኔ እንትን መሆን ፈልገው ወንድሞች ጋር ወጋን ምንም አልሆንም ብዬ ነው ትናንትና 2 ቀን አድሬ ቻክ 2 ቀን አድሬ እነሱ ጋር ወጋን ብዬ እነሱ ተከለከሉ። ከተከለከልኩ በኋላ ምንም አላደረጉንም። አሰደሩን፣ አበሉን፣ አጠጡን። በቃ እንደ ወንድሞች ሆነ ተቀበሉን። ይሄን ያለኝ ሌላ ቋንቋ አገውኛ ደረጃው እሺ አገውኛ አስተላልፍ አገውኛ ቀላል እኔ እንግዲህ አገውኛ አው ቢር ነው ቢር እንጂባራ ነው እኔ እንጂባራ አገውኛ ነው አገውኛ አና ቢዘር እንጂባራ ጀሪ እኔ እሺ እንጂ እኔ እንጂ ኦሮምኛ በኦሮምኛ ምን ታውቀው እንኳን ኦሮምኛ ግሬንዶ ቀይ ነበርና ከዛ አሁን ፋኖ ትናንትና የኛ ጋር የዋጉ ነበሩ የኛ ተያይዞ ስለዚህ ዛሬ እነሱ ጋር ነው ዋጋ ወንድማሞች ነው። ስለዚህ አሁን ዛሬ ወደዚህ ተከላከላና ምንም ማን ኦሮምኛ ትልስ ያውን ኦሮምኛ ደግሞ ኦሮምኛ አን ዱራና ቲሚ መሪ ዳንተ እቱሬ አሞሞ ኢሳን ከለስ ነው ጂ ዋጋ አሞ አራ ኢሳን ወጂ ዴቤ ኢሳን ወጂ ዋጋ ዋን ወንድሞ ተታነ ካለ ሳይ አርከታነ በቃ
Secondly, was Oromia Amhara border, Dera Voreda, North Shore zone of the Oromia region. Fano fighters have breached Oromia's borders several times in the past few days. Fano fighters from Amhara and some locally organized Fano factions are trying to register their presence in Oromia. We have seen infiltration into Oromia, into Vailaga, into North Shore zone of the Oromia region. I think 3 to 4 days ago, I reported about fighting between Fano fighters and Oromia security forces in Gundamaskal. Gundamaskal is the administrative center of Dera Voreda in North Shore zone of the Oromia region. There was fighting between Oromia security forces and Fano fighters. Fano fighters entered Dera from Mirhabate and Midda, which are in North Shore zone of the Amhara region, and some elements from Gundamaskal are local elements which supported Fano's entry into Gundamaskal from Amhara region. There was fighting, then Ethiopian military intervened. Military arrived there, Fano fighters retreated. No Amhara Fano fighters in Gundamaskal who entered from the Amhara region into Gundamaskal. Military restoring peace there. But last night there was an attack there in close to Gundamaskal. According to locals, some Amhara youths have been abducted. People are accusing Ola that Oromo Liberation Army fighters have carried out this attack and they have kidnapped Amhara civilians. Ransom could be demanded, or we don't know what is the purpose behind this abduction, but locals say Amhara civilians have been abducted by allegedly Ola fighters. So, Fano trying to take the conflict from Amhara into Oromia, or you can say they want the Oromia territories with Amhara majority to be destabilized. They want Amharas of Oromia to rise in support of Fano, to rise against Oromia security forces, and they want to ensure that no supplies enter, military supplies enter Amhara from Oromia. That is why they want to make these border areas destabilized. You'll keep on seeing these attacks in Vailaga, in North Shore zone of the Oromia region from Amhara, and maybe some locally organized elements are operating to backed by Fano. Fano wants locals to organize themselves, to be armed and to rise against Oromia forces, ENDF. Military will have to be here in border area. It could turn into large scale Oromo Amhara conflict. Overall, we can say that Oromia Amhara, there is tension on Oromia Amhara border. Fano fighters, especially if they come under more pressure in Amhara, in big cities and small towns, you'll see them spread. You'll see them move into several directions. They could try to move towards BG, towards Sudan, towards Oromia region, but so far they are in Amhara region, in control of dozens of towns, villages. It's not that they are on the retreat. They are in all territories of the Amhara region. Yes, they have lost big cities, but they're still there. Last night, several Tigrayan and Oromo activists and news outlets published manifesto of the Fano fighters, agenda of Fano fighters, details of their objectives. I could not confirm that. I talked to the people close to Fano. That agenda, that manifesto has not been published by Fano fighters. Rather, the agenda has been published by an Oromo scholar. So Fano has not officially published any agenda. That manifesto contained sensitive material against TPLF and Ola, but no confirmation. Lastly, viewers, Ethiopia-Eritrea relations. People say, Sajid, Ethiopian media is it's covering the conflict in Israel. In Israel yesterday, there were clashes between pro-Eritrean government and pro-democracy activists, Eritrean activists. More than 100 were injured. Dozens were arrested. Some are in serious condition, and Israeli government is considering deportation of Eritrean refugees. Benjamin Netanyahu is chairing a key meeting today, and he could announce some tough measures to deport Eritreans from Israel. Ethiopian state media covered yesterday's incidents which happened in Tel Aviv, Israel. So that the people say, Sajid, there could be some tension between the governments of Ethiopia and Eritrea. That is why Ethiopian media is covering the protests, the clashes between Eritrean groups in Israel. Well, yesterday's incidents, yesterday's events in Tel Aviv were widely covered by international media. All major international news outlets covered the conflict in Israel because more than 100 were injured. Police officers too, on both sides, people were injured. So that is why Ethiopian state media also covered it. It's not that Ethiopian state media is turning anti-Eritrean government, and the state media used the term President Isaias Afwerki. No use of language which could indicate towards a tension between Ethiopia and Eritrea. But this is the first time that Ethiopian state media has covered protests against Eritrean government. These protests have been happening for years, and since last year, protests intensified. Brigade Nihamida was formed. Now Eritrean programs backed by the government are being disrupted, cancelled. Ethiopian state media obviously wants to cover this conflict. It covered the conflict in Israel because international media was also covering it. So it covered it like others were covering, but no agenda. I don't see any agenda. I don't see it as an indication of tension between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Though their relations are not very ideal as well. Isaias Afwerki visited Egypt, visited Kenya, Russia, China, but not his neighboring country, Ethiopia. No agreements on strategic long-term partnership between Ethiopia and Eritrea. So they are in their own domains, but they don't have any joint strategy to cement their relations and to work towards economic integration, etc.
እስራኤል ቴል አቪቭ በኤርትራውያን ሰልፈኞች መካከል በተከሰተ ግጭት ከመቶ በላይ የሚሆኑት ላይ ጉዳት እንደደረሰባቸው ተገለጸ። ጉዳቱ ሊደርስ የቻለው በፕሬዝዳንት ኢሳያስ አፈወርቂ አስተዳደር ደጋፊዎችና ተቃዋሚዎች መካከል በቴል አቪቭ የኤርትራ ኤምባሲ ፊት ለፊት በተከሰተ ግጭት ነው ተብሏል። ግጭቱን ለመቆጣጠር የእስራኤል ፖሊስ አስለቃሽ ጋዝ እንደተጠቀመ አልጀዚራ ዘግቧል። ከ30 በላይ በሚሆኑ የእስራኤል ፖሊሶች ላይም ቀላል ቀላል ጉዳት ደርሷል ነው የተባለው። 20 ሺህ የሚሆኑ ኤርትራውያን ስደተኞች በእስራኤል እንደሚኖሩ የሚገመት ሲሆን በስደተኞቹ መካከልም ከባድ መከፋፈል እንዳለ ተገልጿል። እየሰፋ የመጣው የኤርትራውያን የፕሬዝዳንት ኢሳያስ አፈወርቂ ደጋፊዎችና